Notts County Talk, back with another match preview. Before we go into the game, I'd just like to quickly mention that there will be a documentary released in the near future, and it's behind the scenes with the women's team. You know, it gives a bit of an insight to how things go. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that one. But yeah, on to the preview. It's Hartlepool away. Excited for this one because we're both going to be there.
Yeah.
So
a good one.
Yeah, decent mileage though, 130 miles. So you know, you're looking at a 2.5 hour trip roughly from the Nottinghamshire area. Victoria Park, so it's a nice little stadium to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah, one I've never been to. So
yeah, one to tick off the old list.
It is. Right, let's go into the two sides then. Hartlepool sit 12th on 47 points, having played a game more than us. We sit 6th on 51 points after our weekend of playing when hardly anyone did. Hartlepool didn't play, so they've had a bit of a rest. It's kind of acted as our game in hand, and we didn't really take full advantage of it in a game you'd expect to win. But at least we've gained a point. Hartlepool and Notts both 8 points from the last 15 games, which is it's good going. I'm not sure taking 8 points from 15 is going to get playoffs. I know we need roughly 20 more points from 39 games. I don't know how that works out in my head, but Notts, you're looking at, you need 10 from 15 really. Looking at the table though, Notts have conceded 34, Hartlepool have conceded 47, so they've conceded quite a lot of goals, haven't they? And I think that's something we can exploit because we've got goal scorers in our team. If you just look at the top scorers, Dennis, Wootton, Thomas when he can play, even Enzio, Cal Roberts is a goal scorer. I think that's something we can exploit when we play them on Saturday.
Absolutely, it should be interesting, especially coming off the reverse fixture. It was 2-2. Great game, you know, we went 2-0 down, showed character, came back to make it 2-2. But yeah, that takes us on to players to watch. Gary Liddell, so a lot of Notts fans will remember that name. He's a former Notts player, obviously. He's on loan from Walsall. He's played 10 straight games for him since signing, so he's going to be looking to carry that on, definitely making the difference against his former club.
Important player. Yeah, like George said, Liddell plays in midfield. We've got Ryan Donaldson, another midfielder. A lot of experience in the Football League with Plymouth and Cambridge. A midfield with Donaldson and Liddell in, you can see why they're now starting to push for these playoff places. So they're two really good players that we've got to watch out for in the middle. And then it takes us to Jimmy Touré, the striker, French striker. Now he's their top scorer. He's got 11 league goals, but doesn't have a goal, does he, since 7th of December. So whether he's just completely out of form, I'm not too sure what else he brings. Is he more of a target man? I'm not fully aware from what I've heard from Hartlepool fans. But he hasn't scored coming on 2.5 months, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays on Saturday.
Moving on to team news for Notts now. There's a fairly long list again. I'll get it out of the way, the long-term injuries. So we've got Turner, Bakayoko and Slocum. You know, they're going to be out for a lengthy period of time. I think you're looking at least 6 or 7 weeks. And that's all being well. Booty has been running, but that is it. He's not been into actual training, you know, physical contact, because he doesn't want to worsen the injury that he already has. Doyle's back. I'm happy about it. Captain's back. I think he'll slot straight back in. Who for though? I'm not too sure. Wes Thomas, he's still out on suspension. So, you know, a long old list. McCrory, he's like the short-term injury we have at the moment.
He's made a paper though.
Yeah, he does seem to pick up a few injuries, doesn't he? But yeah, he's looking to be back in the next 2 weeks. Lacey is going to be assessed on Saturday morning to see if he'll be in the squad.
Hopefully, yeah.
But if he's not in the squad, we've made the new signing today. Adam Long from Wigan Athletic. It's a funny signing, isn't it? Because you look at his record and he's not actually had a senior appearance. So that is one thing that initially would worry you, but you look deeper into the under-23s at Wigan, and he does seem to have, you know, a fairly good record, and is regarded quite highly at Wigan. And I think you've just got to give him a chance. You know, you look at the system we have in place with the owners. We've signed some great players this season.
Sam Graham, at centre back.
Yeah,
the young lad we signed that's like out for months.
Yeah, you almost forget about him.
Yeah, he was a great player.
Yeah, it seems such a long time ago now, that doesn't it, Sam Graham? But Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how it goes because, you know, it's a month-long loan. So if it does go sour, you know, it'll be going back. But if it does go well, I'm sure it'll get extended.
Yeah. So going on to our lineups, I think there's going to be differences here, personally. We'll go in goal. Picks itself, doesn't it? McDonald.
Yeah.
This is where I'm thinking change of formation, but not at the back. So I'm just keeping the back four. And my back four would be Kelly Evans left back, Lacey if fit, and Rawlinson centre back, Brindley right back.
I'll agree with you, back four.
If Lacey isn't fit, I also wouldn't have Adam Longing straight in. I'll put Pierce Bird in.
Fair.
Yeah. I don't think he did too much wrong. Now let's go to midfield. So what are you saying?
I'm going to stick with 4-4-2. I know you're going to go 4-3-3. You were on about this in the player ratings, but I do think the system works. We just didn't play that well against Woking, I didn't think so. On the right, I'd have Enzio. On the left, Carl Roberts. In the centre, I would have O'Brien and Doyle.
Okay.
What would your centre midfield look like?
Out of a three,
Yeah,
I would have Doyle, Rose, O'Brien as a three. We've seen Doyle can ping it out wide. That's fine. We've seen O'Brien can press and push things up the field, and we've seen Rose can back into players and grab the ball and is halfway falling to the floor. So that's my midfield three.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be sort of swayed. Because we play narrow anyway when we're playing 4-4-2. So it wouldn't be too much different in terms of midfield.
And
we'd just have more attacking threat.
Be honest, at the Woking game, apart from score, what did Christian Dennis do? I know you can say, oh, he scored, he got us a point, but he offered nothing. I like Dennis, good player, but you can't be going to an away game against a fellow team chasing the playoffs and have a player that's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd do. And then I would have your wingers, let them swap round, Cal Roberts and Enzio, and then Wootton up front. If you allow those two to come narrow and play off Wootton, I think you've got something good. And then you've got your midfielders that can press up, leave one, maybe leave Doyle. You've got an attacking five there.
I've changed my mind.
Have you?
Not reaching towards you though, don't get too excited.
No, you are.
No, I'm not. No. So, with what you said about Dennis, it is true. I didn't really have much of an impact on the game. So, that being said, I'm going to swap Carl Roberts for Osborne on the wing, and put Carl Roberts and Wharton up front.
That's a shout. I just don't think...
Carl Roberts has played up front,
yeah.
And I think with a player as creative as him, and, you know, fair enough he missed a sitter, but he wasn't set right, you know, that split second, you know, you let him get away with it. Windy day. We've all been there.
Right, let's go on to our predictions for the game. I think very poor game, 1-0 Notts.
Conditions aren't getting better, are they? It's going to be wet through. It's going to be so wet. Yeah, I'm going 1-0 Notts as well. And I'm going to say Carl Roberts off the mark.
Yeah, Carl Roberts. It's must win now. It's nothing else.
Yeah, no, I want nothing less from this game than 3 points.
No. Big game. So if you are travelling up and you fancy chatting to us after the game, let us know in the comments or give us a message on Twitter. Also leave your predictions for the lineup and the score in the comment section below. And let's hope we go and get 3 points to bring back to Nottingham.